Hi, I am Laci Mercede, and I am thrilled to be on air with Ruben Jay.
You've tuned in to On Air with Ruben Jay, your home for entertainment news and deep dive conversation. Here's your host, Ruben Jay.
Well, Laci Mercedes is joining me right now. Laci, how you doing?
I'm great. I'm good. It's a good day.
It's a good day. We're recording this on a Monday. We're going to tell people,
Yeah.
give people a little bit of behind the scenes here in the podcasting world. But recording this on a Monday, it's very rare that you can say that a Monday was a good day.
Yeah, well, I don't know. It's been a crazy, I'm like stumbling for words. It's been a crazy couple of years, and I don't know. I'm just in a place now where I feel like good. I released my project, I'm in a good. It's a good Monday. I've had some bad days in general, so having, days like this, I'm just like very grateful,
Yeah,
to feel good,
absolutely.
be in a good place.
Absolutely. Let me start off by asking this, because I know this
Yeah.
is um, something that has affected a lot of people over the years. But
Mhm.
it's also affected your mom. How's your mom doing since her recent health issues? I don't know if we want to go into detail about what it is, but is she doing
We
all right?
can. No, totally. She got COVID really, really bad. She
Yeah.
got the pneumonia in both lungs, and I was taking care of her. I'm actually the one that got COVID, and she came to visit me, and I didn't know I had COVID.
Oh man.
And so I got it, and then she was fine, and then one day it just, like, hit her really bad, and I wasn't even fully recovered, but, like, no one could help me, So, like, I had to, like, administer, medication for her, and it was really, really intense. She was supposed to be here for, like, 2 or 3 days. She drove up, from Vegas, that's where my family lives, and, then she ended up being here for, like, a month and a half because she then went to a hospital for 10 days, and then facility I think it was the other way around. It was 17 days at the hospital and then 10 days at the nursing facility, and then I could drive her home to Vegas. So she ended up being here for quite a while, and she pretty much had to like rebuild herself from kind of scratch. She just her body started shutting down. It was pretty intense to see my mom in that state, but she's doing so much better. She's
Good.
fully recovered,
Good.
and yeah, I'm just glad I'm glad she's okay. I'm glad it's over. I'm glad it's done.
Yeah, I was biting my nails
Yeah.
for a couple weeks there, because I love your mom, and she's always been wonderful to me.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
glad she's doing well. Let's get another somber thing out of the way here. Not that it's
Yeah. Let's just do it.
not that we just wanted to push it aside, but I think I don't want to come back to this in a couple of minutes. Bob Saget passed away yesterday as of this recording, and I know
Yeah.
a lot of us grew up on Bob Saget,
Mhm.
from Full House and America's Funniest Home
Mhm.
Videos. Do you have any thoughts on his passing, and how do you feel about it? I mean, I'm still completely in shock
Yeah.
after reading the news. I actually did a tribute show to him on came out today, but a couple days ago.
Wow. Yeah, no, I was really shocked too. I was like, what the heck? Like, Uncle Danny? Like, what the hell?
Right?
Um, yeah, I watched that show like my whole like upbringing. Like, just I remember like all the time, like Nick at Night. I would watch George Lopez in Full House. That's it.
Same.
Like just those shows. Sometimes The Nanny was in and Fresh Prince. All those shows I'd watch. Yeah, that was just a chunk of my life. So it's really sad. It's really sad. Yeah, man, it feels like a lot of people are dying. And I hate to sound dark, but it's happening a lot and it's wild. It's just been a wild couple years. Like, I think everyone's just kind of like, oh my gosh, another thing, like another thing.
Yeah,
But we have hope. We do have hope. It's it's just sad
yeah.
sometimes.
It's a crazy thing, 'cause I feel like was it 2018 or 2016 or 2018 was one of those years where I felt like the last quarter of the year we were losing celebrities left and right, and now it seems like we're as the year ended, and now we're going into the new year. There's so many like just beloved celebrities who are just passing away, and it's sad, on top of the fact that we're still dealing with COVID and still dealing with all the insanity
Yeah.
around that as well. So um
Yeah.
and in the chaos, you found time to record, produce an EP, and still it seems to me that you kind of upgraded your sound a little bit too. Uh, so I'm really
Thank
excited to
you.
dive into this. The EP
Yeah, me
is
too.
called
I'm very
A Trip.
excited.
Yeah, the EP is called A Trip to Mercury. It's out
I haven't talked to
everywhere now.
anyone yet. I haven't done any interviews yet, so I'm
Oh,
very excited.
I feel very blessed now.
Yeah, I'm very
Um,
excited.
I'm always excited to talk to you, but when I find out that I'm like in the early phase of your media tour, I'm like,
Mhm.
yes, super excited about it. Um,
Yeah.
so A Trip to Mercury is the name of the
Yes.
project. It's
Yes.
been a while since you released a full body of work. So I think the last time we talked, it was just a song that you had released. Tell me about the making of this, because I know you mentioned in your post that it took a while to get to this place. So tell me a little
Mhm.
bit about that, and what kind of journey you went on as you wrote this record.
Yeah. Wow. Oh my gosh. It's been a journey. It feels amazing that it's out, but yeah, I just well, actually it's weird because like I think like I knew that I was going to do a project right when lockdown happened, like March, April time, 2020. And I had two songs that I had like some ideas for and I kind of started, which is Virgo and Lose You for a Little. Those songs I had already like had things written down in my notes about like what I wanted to do with those. And those felt really great. And it was a really intense time. I was going through a pretty like really like shocking breakup, really shocked. And then like lockdown and I had moved out. Um I was basically kind of living and then I moved into my parents' house and lockdown happened and then I moved into a place with my best friend in the midst of all that. So like so much was going on in my personal life plus like the terrifyingness of COVID when we were first like having that happen. And I just had my best friend and me and I just was venting to her and just venting to her. She was going through things simultaneously and these songs just started like flowing out of me because I had a lot to say, and I made a lot of songs and it got narrowed down to the 6. I made quite a bit that didn't end up making it on the project just cuz they weren't meant for everyone. They were meant for me. Um but these ones felt the best and they felt the most cohesive and that it's told in order and um it's just been a crazy process. The reason why this one is so different than the others because I have released an EP, but I think how old was I? Was I 19, 18 or 19 when that came out? So now I'm 23. And it's
Jesus.
like I know. And I'm a young woman and my life experience is just very different and I think I was still a teenager. I didn't really know exactly what I wanted yet even though I knew that I wanted to do music. I just wasn't exactly sure what my place was musically. And over the last few years in I don't know, 3 or 4 years I've just been zoning in on that and for me this project, I didn't plan it. It just happened, really. Um, and what was different was the fact that I sat with it for so long. Like, I finished like the first 4 songs probably by, I don't know, maybe really, probably like end of 2020, early 2021. And
Wow.
then um, the other 2 I did pretty fast. And also, I was like trying to figure out what I wanted to say about what I was going through because some things you just got to deal with on your own and then some things you got to like let out and I was just going through all the weird like artist feelings like back and forth of what's important, like how do I feel about this? And then I would just sit there and experiment with sounds and like I met so many different producers and I like got to work with them and really see how we click and see if it's a fit and everything was just very experimental and patient, like not rushed. The entire process was not rushed. And of course, I had everyone I was working with like being like, "So when's it coming out? So are you gonna release it, Lacey?" I'm like, it just has to be perfect, you know. And then last minute, we're adding different instruments and elements, and then I wanted to try. I at one point, oh my god, like Virgo was like, oh my god, what it started out versus like what it is. It's I think I re-sang the vocals like 4 times for that song. I think we did like 6 different productions for that song. um I just like let my brain and let my creative um feelings just flow. I didn't give myself a deadline. I didn't give myself time to like, okay, you got to hurry up and do this. And, TikTok is really important. And even though I love making TikToks and it's so fun, that's not why I do music. That's not why I do this. And I just know that every project I've ever loved, time was involved, a lot of time, a lot of care. And I wanted to like really explore that side of myself as a young woman, as an adult now. And that's really what I did. And now when it came out, it feels like I made peace with it, before I let other people like in and hear. Um and so now it's like I can enjoy this process of like post release. I can actually celebrate because I'm not still dealing with those feelings anymore, you know. So it's very exciting. I'm like feeling good.
Absolutely. As I listened to the EP, because I listened to it a little bit yesterday and I listened to a lot of it today.
Yay.
And the first thing like the first note in Virgo, I was like, oh, this is different. This isn't the Lacey I'm used to. And not in a bad way. It was a good thing.
Yay.
And kind of the thought that came in my head as you're kind of explaining the process that you went through over the last really year and a half,
2
2
years.
years,
Yeah.
is this is kind of like your coming of age project, it feels like. Like this
Yeah,
is who
it
you
is.
are. And I will say this. The one thing that I noted as I listened to Virgo is I said to myself, the next time, I need some, real intimate one-on-one time with my girlfriend, I'm gonna play this record, I'm gonna pour some wine, and I'm gonna, light some candles, because this is totally like cuddle, like get real
Oh,
close with your lover.
yay.
This is a great, great
Oh,
record. So
thank you. Wow, thank you.
I want to go track by track on this,
Oh my
um,
god,
and
yay.
just and kind of get your input on this, on
Okay.
the songs. I don't have a lot of thought. Again, I've listened to it a lot, but I still don't have, track by track
Yeah.
thoughts yet. But I
Yeah,
will
yeah,
be
yeah.
writing something probably coming out on Friday. I'll keep you guys
Okay.
updated on that. But I want to go track by track, because I feel like,
Okay.
especially if you spent 2 years working on this,
Mhm.
why not talk about each of these tracks?
Yeah.
So of course, let's start with Virgo.
Okay.
That's the first song on the EP. Um,
Mhm.
Obviously, I know that you are into astronomy. So
Astrology.
astrology. Thank you. I'm stupid when it comes to this stuff. Uh, Tell me about Virgo, because obviously
Yeah.
this song seems to be a very personal song from what I've picked up on it.
Yeah.
Um, and I would love to know more about it. Obviously, share as much as you feel comfortable. I know some artists like to kind of keep meanings behind,
Yeah.
smoke and mirrors, but please, share
Mhm.
share share your inspiration behind the song.
Yeah. I mean, I think there is a, there definitely are some things that I think I'm going to leave up for people to kind of interpret. And um obviously art imitates life and real experiences, and so I think those real experiences were for me, and this was my artistic approach to it. And so I want people to feel that they can interpret it the way that they want to as well. However, I'll tell you how it kind of like came together.
Yeah, please, please.
Like, okay, so Virgo, Virgo, Virgo. Okay, wait, this song started a while ago. Oh my god. I Okay, so Virgo started, and I had, so obviously like now it's kind of like this interlude, like intro moment. There's only a verse and a chorus. Like it's not a lot of lyrics. It's just very, there's a lot of instrumentation happening. But initially, I wrote this to some basic piano chords. I just literally sat down on my piano, started. I don't even play piano. I'll just like find chords that I like so that I can write to it. Um, and I kind of did that. And then I kept having this like, am I allowed to curse on here?
Sure, I'll bleep it if it's really bad, but go for it.
Okay. What's really bad?
Just go for it. Be authentic.
Okay. Um, I was dying because I literally could not figure this fucking second verse out. Like I rewrote it like maybe 10 times. And I'm not like that. I'm really not like that. I'm like I trust the initial, you know, rush of inspiration. Like I trust that. So I'm not normally like that, but I couldn't figure it out. And then one day, like this is what kept happening. Like I would try things and then walk, like pull away from my desk and go listen to it in the car or like play it for a friend or sit with it and then let it come to me and then, you know, adjust. Um, and one day I went back to my computer and I just muted the entire second verse and I was like, this song doesn't need a second verse. Like, why do I feel like it needs a second verse? It's not flowing. Like I have to trust that. So I just took it off and I sent Virgo to there's this artist named Maria that I was working with and her producer. I met him. His name is Gamal. He's in New York. I met him on FaceTime during the pandemic. And Gamal added some cool production to it. I had my friend Robbie add some guitars to it. And then this year, I had my friend Jonah add like extra production and all that cool piano stuff at the end. Um, and it just like everyone had this little piece in Virgo, and it's the oldest song of all of them. And it's kind of like, for me, Virgo is just obviously it's about a Virgo. I'm not a Virgo, I'm a Libra. And I did get that question on Twitter. People like, "Are you a Virgo?" Nope. No, I'm not. I'm a little too caring about the aesthetics to be a Virgo. Um anyways, so that to me that song is very like, yeah, like you said, very personal, and it's just about having those overwhelming feelings of like really loving someone and kind of not really knowing how to express it. Like how do you, when you like really love someone, like how do you even say that?
Yeah.
It's like beyond words. So that's why I think it's almost subconsciously why there wasn't a second verse, because it's just like the music just took over. And there's this dreamy sense happening in a lot of the songs, and the sad songs are really sad and the songs about love are really beautiful and like dreamy and kind of Disney like. And I wanted it to feel like a fairy tale, which is what love feels like. I mean, at least the excitement of it. Um when it's really well, really good, you know, it feels amazing. And then when things go wrong, it's horrible and it's like this dark cloud. Um and then there's this moment too. Sorry, I'm like all over the place right now, but there's this
No, I
moment like,
love this.
you know, okay. There's this moment like there's like this wave of emotions throughout the whole EP, and at the end it's like this hope. It's like love, oh my gosh, and then it's like heartbreak, and then it's like, oh wait, but like it's literally okay. Like it's totally okay whether it works out or whether it doesn't. Like either way, everything's going to be fine. And we go through this to learn so much, not about the other person, but about ourselves
Yeah.
and kind of like how we are and what we need to look for, what we don't need to look for. And I don't know. Virgo is just that initial song of like, I really love you and I don't know even what to do with this feeling because it's too much. It's too overwhelming. That's what Virgo is really about.
Yeah, I'm reading the lyrics right now. Which is
Mhm.
surprises me that you not that you in particular, but small artists don't. When I mean by small, I mean like unsigned artists who aren't on
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
they usually don't put
So
their
rude.
lyrics. I
Just
know, I
kidding.
know. You're like I'm 5'4".
I'm actually I'm 5'1".
Are you really?
Yes. I'm
God, that's how
so
long it's been since
short.
we've been in the same room together.
Yeah,
But
right.
you know, most artists who like they don't, if they're not on a big label, they don't usually put their lyrics on Apple Music. So I'm excited to be able to read these.
Oh,
But
cool.
I'll say at the end, I just love the last couple of lines here. I'm gonna read them. I don't give a fuck what no bitch says. No one knows you like I do. It's me that's right for you. And I just realized I didn't have the
I
camera on this.
love hearing you read that. Oh my god, that's so good.
We should do a whole series of me just reading your lyrics.
Just
Uh,
breaking, like, just reading it like that.
but let me
Oh,
tell you what I love about this, because I feel like I feel I feel the emotion in that, because I can feel that there's a sense of not entitlement, but like
ownership.
ownership. Yeah, and
Mhm.
that's what I like about this, because when you are in a relationship with somebody, whether it works out or not, if you truly love that person, there should be some sense of like, you're my person, you're my other half, you're the other part of what I've experienced, and I,
Yeah.
I love that the line that sticks out to me is no one knows you like I do, because people forget that, like, when you're in a relationship with somebody, it doesn't matter how long their best friend's been in their life, doesn't matter how long their sister's been in their life, doesn't matter how long their
Mm-mm.
brother's been in their life.
Mm-mm.
You don't get, like, nobody gets as close to one another as when you're in a true, meaningful, deep,
Yeah.
loving relationship. And I just love that.
Right.
I love that line.
Yeah. Thank you. It's so true. It's so true. It's like when I've even heard like couples say this before, like to each other, friends, couples, and they're freaking fighting or something. And you know, and the guy's like no one like talks to me like this. And the girl's like, that's because no one knows you like me.
Yeah.
Your homies aren't gonna come at you crazy because you did some fuck shit. Your homies aren't going to come at you like that. They don't care for you like I care for you. And it's vice versa. It's, girls who say the same thing. Like, you know, we kind of bring out the best and the worst in each other,
Yeah.
relationships do.
Oh
And,
yeah.
I'm sure there's a whole group of people that are like, well, if it brings out the worst in you, it's not the right person for you. But sometimes what we disguise as the worst in us is actually areas where we have to kind of grow. Like, I really
That's
think relationships teach you a lot about yourself.
absolutely. I feel like, and this is just my opinion here.
Yeah.
Um, I feel like when you allow someone to see parts of you that you wouldn't let even your closest friends see, you
Yes.
allow yourself to heal from whatever trauma that causes, or that was
Totally.
caused by, or grow as a person, or both, you
Yeah.
know and I feel like people who are scared of the worst of the person that they're with, that's when you can tell that that's not the right person for you. If
Yeah.
there's something that your partner is doing that, like, is either uncomfortable for you or scaring you away, but it's
Mhm.
really something that, if that was the right person for you, you would work through that issue, that trauma, whatever that situation is, and grow with that
Mhm.
person.
Totally.
And I think that's a huge thing that most people who aren't ready for the real relationships don't know.
Right.
A lot of people are like, they're ready to have, that the arm candy or eye candy with them to go out
Yeah,
to
they're
eat.
accessory.
Yeah, everyone's down to hook up and have sex, whatever. But
Right.
a lot of people aren't willing to sacrifice themselves for the betterment of their partner, and grow
Totally.
through them, grow with them through those issues. Um,
Totally.
I like how we.
People are afraid of being vulnerable. It's so scary. And I think like we're just in such a weird time where like it's not good for women or men. Like we're in the craziest culture right now. Like we're living in a weird time where, you know, I don't know. Sometimes that's why it's like when you do find a real connection with someone, it's so painful if you have to like say goodbye to it because so many people are not real. They're
Mhm.
just, it's hard to find someone that you can be vulnerable with and be open with, and they can be open and vulnerable with you. And you know what? Like for to the couples who like really made it through the pandemic, like even if you guys are toxic or like I don't know, even if it was really hard, like I applaud couples for like making it through. This time was weird. The last couple of years has affected every relationship in my life.
Yeah,
So, you know,
absolutely.
it's been interesting.
I love how we've turned this into a relationship lifestyle podcast when we're talking about.
Hey, you know what? You know what? I love talking about this stuff.
It's great. I mean, what's funny is you mentioned something that kind of triggered this thought in my head, which is,
Okay.
people don't like to be vulnerable,
Yeah.
and it makes me wonder, like, you're a songwriter,
Mhm.
and I'm looking at the credits on this thing, and there are mo by the way, I just realized what your full name is. I just saw the credit on this thing. It's kind of, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Um,
Now
but
you know.
there's like 5 or 6 people per song that I'm assuming you collaborated with them. Whether or not you collaborate with them on lyrics or music or whatever, that doesn't really matter so much, because you had to be vulnerable with these people to allow them into these moments that you're writing about, but also
Mhm.
be vulnerable to allow them to contribute their ideas to it.
Mhm.
And so
Mhm.
it's just kind of it's mind boggling, because I don't ever work on that level, so I don't ever have to get this vulnerable with people where I'm talking about stuff that has either broken me or is some serious shit in my life. And you
Mhm.
did this on 6 different songs plus more
Mhm.
that you haven't
Mhm.
released yet.
Mhm.
That's
Mhm.
crazy. So I guess the question with that is it uncomfortable to be this vulnerable during writing sessions and production sessions, or is it natural for you at this point?
At the time that the songs were getting written, I sort of needed it. I
Okay.
needed to let it out. It wasn't so difficult at the time. I think now I've talked it out enough. I don't know. I don't have the same things to say anymore, but I think for whatever reason, like at the time it wasn't for me, just because I was like, I need my friends' opinions.
Yeah.
And I've been in the music and entertainment industry almost my entire life. So all my friends, I mean, a lot of my friends are musicians. A lot of my friends are, or they're writers, or they're in the business in some way. Not all my friends. I also have friends who go to college and very normal, non-industry related friends, which is like, wow, that's crazy. Um, but I do have friends who you know, also know what it's like to be in a relationship and be in the music industry and like the complications with that. And um so having their advice, is always really helpful. And then it would just pour out of me. I'd be like, I'm feeling this, and I'm like, this is a song, this is a song. And that's my bed sort of was that for me. That's about the ownership feeling. And
Yeah.
that's like that claim on a person that, first of all, we don't own anyone. We don't own anyone, but it's a feeling that we have, which is like, you know, and if you've been cheated on before, I mean, like, which I had in past relationships, you're just like, don't do anything, like you're mine, like, you just start getting jealous and like over the dumbest things. And
Mm.
I don't know, it's just like funny to look back, because I just feel so differently about things now.
Well, let's transition into "That's My Bed," because that is the next
Yeah.
song on the record here.
Yeah.
And
Sorry if I'm so scattered. I
no, no,
literally
no,
haven't talked about this yet.
no, don't worry. Hey, listen, I have, like, I joked about it beforehand. Like, we can go 4 hours if you really want to. Like, I have no problem doing that. The listeners might, but I don't. Um, but this is probably my favorite song on the record. Um,
Okay.
and I don't, what's funny is I don't necessarily know why, other than the fact that I think that it's just I probably have been in this situation before, like,
Mm.
and this is me kind of assuming things based off of the lyrics and the title of the song. Um,
Mhm.
but it feels like this is the perspective of somebody who's been cheated on, whether it be emotional or not, or like physical
Mhm.
or emotional, or caught in some sort
Mhm.
of big lie. Um,
Mhm.
and then you reminding them that this is my house, my bed, like this, like, I don't know. This is just me kind of putting 2 and 2 together. You
Yeah,
can
it's also I am not this no, I was not. No, I was not cheated on.
Okay,
It's more about post breakup, you know,
okay,
thinking about someone being in a bed that you slept in for years. It's
Mm.
more that. It's more me exploring the fear of thinking about a person I love with someone else and what that life might be like. Like, am I going to have to see this? Am I going to have to like, cause I'm not over it. I'm not past it. I still love this person. Like, am I going to have to like, am I going to see some girl on Instagram in my fucking bed? Like, that's how I was, that's how I was feeling, you know, just very like, is that what I'm going to have to fucking experience? Like, I don't want to go through this. Like, I just want to delete my Instagram and like fuck off. Like that's so it was either that option or like let me write a song and like get this energy out, you know.
I mean, and to be fair, I mean, there's nothing wrong with doing both.
Right. Right. And I kind of did fuck off for a while. You know, I dyed my hair red. I like lost it for a sec, but you know, we came back together.
I don't think dyeing your hair red is necessarily.
It's not. It's just like, you know, girls kind of like, you know, do something to their hair
Did you,
always.
did you cut bangs?
No, but I cut my hair really short though.
Okay.
Cut
See,
my hair really short and dyed it red.
I feel like if you see a girl with bangs, she's going through something. You know, whether it's
That's pretty accurate.
But you know, what the thing that I love about
So
this
funny.
whole record is everything on this is telling a story, you know,
Yeah.
and you leave enough up for interpretation.
Thank you.
Because, and that's what I love. I love listening to a record and then playing it for somebody, or you know, if it's, you know, if there's, you know, community behind the artist, you know, going to their social media and seeing people talk about the different meanings that they've taken away from the songs. You're just like, damn, way off. Like, obviously it's not about that, it's about this. So, and you did a really good job of doing this. Was that
Thank you.
intentional for you? Like, did you want, you know, because again, people, there's two ways you can kind of go through these type of projects. It's either one, it's a journal, or two, you're kind of painting this broad picture, which is what you did. It wasn't a very specific picture. Was that intentional for you?
Yeah, and I mean, I really really hope I'm not crossing the line talking about this, but the reason why there's a lot that's like, I don't know, kind of artistically put, or, you know, put in maybe like a different way or something like that, um was because, oh my god. Oh my god, I'm worried I'm not allowed to talk about this.
You talk about it with me, or talk about it like legally?
I mean, publicly, like, just because, whatever, fuck it. You can cut it out if it's too much. Just gotta
If
go
you,
for it.
I'm just gonna put this out there. If you decide that you want it out, just let me know.
Okay, I'll
Yeah,
just
but
tell you.
yeah, just okay.
I'll just
Whatever.
tell you.
I'm
We'll
open.
figure it out.
It's just
Okay,
because
okay.
you and me and a couple thousand people who download this. Like, no one's.
Okay, well, I'm not endorsing. But you know, when you are, you know, going through a lot and you're trying to find yourself, and you know, I felt alone, and I felt for really the first time I felt super like alone, and not for the first time, but I mean, in my adulthood I felt alone for the first time.
Okay.
And I was just trying to explore myself and find myself, and during very early pandemic, you know, and I also thought the world was coming to an end. I didn't know we'd even be here, you know. I didn't even know if the EP would come out. um and we just experimented with psychedelics. And some of this project was made during some really healing and incredible pandemic shrooms trips. And I feel like, you know, again, like I said, I'm not like fully endorsing, like, because I know there's like, this is a very gray topic, and it's really to each their own type of thing, for me at least. But you know, some things were literally put in the way that I sort of thought them out and experienced them through different psychedelic experiences. So yeah.
Interesting. Okay, that explains a little bit more
Okay.
of the artisticness of at least the promotional items you sent.
Yeah.
Because they were, and they'll be posted up on my Instagram, and they're posted on your Instagram. A couple of them are already.
Yes.
I kind of felt like looking at the cover art and all the stuff that like there was some sort of like uh,
Trippy, like,
trippy vibe. Yeah, and I wasn't sure if that was
yeah.
just the vibe that you were going for, and that would come out in the EP, or excuse me, as the story you just told, you kind of went through a phase. Which full
Would
disclosure, I'm not endorsing it. She's not endorsing it. Like, do some
mhm,
research
mhm,
before you
mhm.
decide whether or not
Yeah.
it's the right thing for you.
Obviously, don't be a child. If you obviously be of age.
Yeah, absolutely. And honest to God, I think that people just need to make that decision on their own. But go do some
Exactly.
research. Um,
Exactly.
do some research. Talk to a doctor if you need to. But,
Totally. And for me it was a really healing experience, and I know it's different for everyone, but I
Mhm,
feel like that's with anything, that's with anything. You have to do your own research
absolutely,
with anything.
absolutely. And I think uh, well, I'm not gonna comment on it because I don't want to sway anyone one way or another. But
No,
there are
you got to
worse.
say it now.
Well,
You
I'm
got to
just
say it now.
my thing is there are a lot worse things you can do than
Totally.
a shroom. Like I don't do anything. I
Totally.
hardly ever drink. I don't smoke weed. I don't do
Yeah.
any sort of drugs.
Wow.
I'm very control. I don't like the thought of
Good
me
for you.
tripping on shrooms right now freaks me the hell out because I'm like, what would I say? Like, what war crimes would I
Yeah.
would I admit to and end up in jail? But a lot of people,
Oh my
that's
gosh.
like you said, it's a healing process for them. So I'd
Yeah.
rather somebody trip on some shrooms or smoke some weed than be addicted to alcohol and
Totally.
being out there destroying their lives and other people's lives in the process. That's just my take on it.
I agree. I
Yeah.
agree.
Um,
And I mean, for what it's worth, there is scientific evidence
mhm.
of shrooms being more like I remember seeing something one time that said, by the way, sorry if I like stutter. My brain moves faster than my mouth. I've had a stuttering thing my whole life because of it. So, I'm really trying to overcome that in 2022, but
No
it's just
worries.
a thing. Um anyways, I heard something one time that was like saying that a powerful healing shrooms trip is equivalent to 10 years of cognitive therapy. Now, I don't know if that's accurate, but I did hear that.
Okay, what kind of Joe Rogan shit are you disputing right now?
Honestly, right?
I love Joe
Um,
Rogan.
no, yeah. I mean, I don't know. And I've heard bad too. So it's just, yeah,
do,
But
do,
for me, there are themes of I speak on some of that in the lyrics, like even in Arizona, and Arizona is literally about a trip. So it
okay.
is, so let's just say that.
Yeah, we'll get there in a second.
Yeah, we'll
So
get
I
there.
just have one follow-up question.
Okay.
How often do you trip? Like, is it
I don't.
okay?
This isn't something I just do. No, no.
Okay, no, I'm
Every
curious because
Friday at 2. No, no.
no, because I
No, no, no,
so
no.
so I have I do have friends who do it somewhat regularly therapeutically.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
there are people like that for sure.
yeah, and it's not like a thing that they do every week or every other week, but
Mhm.
every couple months they might go out and go on a camping trip and trip out for a little bit, which is totally. I was
Yeah.
just curious. I don't want to out
Yeah,
your
yeah, yeah.
recreational stuff.
No. No, no, no. I mean, no, no. And I mean, I will say that this year in um the summertime, I lost a really close friend to an overdose, and so I have been very anti everything kind of since then. But we'll see. I mean, I've been a public weed smoker. I mean, I do smoke weed, but I don't just like do drugs. No, this was like pandemic, and I was like, okay, well,
Yeah, and I'm gonna
everything's gone, so I'm gonna go ahead and just see how this feels.
yeah, and I'm just gonna say this right now. If you or someone you know is dealing with substance abuse,
Yeah.
and want or need help, I will link some resources
Oh,
in the description
please.
of this podcast. You are not alone. And addiction is a very serious thing, but it's something that you can definitely overcome.
Oh,
So
yeah.
don't feel alone.
Yeah. It's so
Anyway,
weird that we're even talking about this. I literally just got done watching the season 2 episode of Euphoria.
oh, see, I haven't watched it, so I have no idea what it's about.
It's
But
good. It's good.
yeah, um, Lose You for a Little, next song up
Yes.
on the docket here.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna try to give you my thoughts on this, just because again I have to listen to it more, and I'll put it in writing. It will be out on multimediamouth.com sometime in the next 7 days. I will have it out in writing.
Okay,
Um,
perfect.
but yeah, tell me a little about this, because I feel like there's a good story behind this, and I want to.
Mhm.
I have some thoughts, but I want to hear your thoughts first. So
Okay, okay. Um, Lose You for a Little, I wrote with my friend Robbie. We started this one very like this, Virgo and Lose You for a Little were before pandemic. They kind of the initial idea and writing of it, all the production and stuff happened in the pandemic, but some writing had the beginning processes had happened before. So Robbie and I met at his studio, and we were just catching up like friends do, just catching up, and he started playing these really cool chords, and that's kind of how our sessions go. We'll just like vent as friends, and then just like whatever we're talking about, he'll just start playing some chords and seeing like, whatever's fitting the conversation. And then we start writing, and Lose You for a Little was kind of a song being like, hey, like, I don't see this working right now. It doesn't mean it's not going to. It's just not right now. And that's okay. And I love you. And I mean, no harm. I'm not trying to be with anyone. We just need time apart and time for ourselves because we're all we've known. And, and I don't want to lose you in my life, but I need space right now in order to like heal. Um, but don't go is kind of what I'm saying at the same time. So that song really developed a lot. Lyrics got changed for that one. But that song is probably one of my favorites lyrically, just because there's actually a clip on my Instagram I posted of an Amy Winehouse interview, and it's still on my Instagram because I love this. I love her. I love the interview so much. And she is kind of talking about there's like this thing now where so many writers, and it's so prevalent in our culture with men and women being like, I don't need you, fuck you, you can, I'm good, like you're ruining my peace. Like there's all this like, if you don't agree with me, I'm just gonna dip, I'm just gonna go find someone else, I got a dating app on my phone. Like
yeah,
there's this very like non-committing, non-loyalty kind of thing. And it's like, and Amy Winehouse was saying like, what happened to the days where like you're like, I don't even care if you don't love me, like I'm gonna pour my heart out and tell you I love you, like this is how I feel, and I just feel that like when I because I, to be honest, for the people that know me outside of like one person, um I'm very like closed off. Like I have an unapproachable vibe in, a lot of scenarios, like, with men and stuff. And so when I actually do let someone in and I kind of they pass all these tests and I do let them in, I really do care and love that person. And it's like really hard to come to terms with that something's not right anymore. And you're just kind of like, well, I know I can't have this right now, but maybe, when some time goes by and we grow as people, it might work out, you know?
yeah.
So that's kind of
It's
what that song's about.
so this some. I'm gonna get really personal here for a second, and
Get personal.
I'm probably gonna get in trouble for this.
Oh
So,
gosh.
when my girl and I started talking and started dating, there was a minute where we were like, this might not work out, you
Yeah,
know. And the phrase that she kept saying was "right person, wrong time." Um,
totally.
and that's what this is all about. Like this is talking
Mhm.
about how, I'm reading the lyrics here, and it's talking about how, like, okay, so the first line of the song is it isn't you, I need my time, I need my space, needs and space a little more, and so that's making it clear there isn't necessarily a problem with the person,
Mhm.
It's just, there's stuff that we have to work out. But then, later on it goes down, it's talking about not wanting to find somebody else, but you're not okay alone, and so it's an interesting thing. And so,
It's a
you know,
codependency thing.
it's definitely, and I know so many people who, you know, they're with somebody just because it's somebody to be with. Um,
Totally.
and they're not okay being alone. And
Totally.
there's this the problem with that, and this is and hopefully this hits home with some people and they can
Yeah.
look back and say, okay, maybe it is okay to be alone for a little bit. Is, if you don't give yourself the time to deal with whatever it is that's causing you to be codependent with other people, you're never going to be truly happy in a relationship, because you're going to be with people
100%.
who aren't right for you, because you'd rather be with the wrong person at the wrong time than being, with the right person at the right time at some point, because you're too afraid to go to bed alone.
Mhm. And holding on to something that's not right for you causes more damage than dealing with the pain of letting go.
Yeah,
But you cannot come to terms with that when you're in those moments. It's so hard.
it is. It's
Um
very hard.
and codependency has a bad rep, but it's so fucking relatable and human.
Mhm.
Um we all are codependent. We
Absolutely.
all are codependent. We need each other. Humans work together. It is the foundation of like human existence. We're
Mhm.
all communicating. We all need each other. Hey, scratch my back if I scratch yours. That's been a thing forever. So we're all codependent. We're all independent. You're not just one thing. Yes, some people might be a little more, but we're all that. That's all a relatable feeling. Now like learning to be alone, when I started writing that song, I did not know how to be alone. And it was affecting the relationship because if you can't be cool with yourself alone, you're definitely not going to be cool with someone else. You're going to be expecting too much out of them.
Yeah,
Like a person can't fill a void that you can only fill with yourself. You have to like fuck with yourself. You have to like love yourself. And I will proudly say it's so crazy now. But so I wrote that song. Obviously, you can hear I started some of those lyrics when I was 21 because there's that lyric, I'm 21, but I don't know who I'll be at 24. And now I'm 23, and it's crazy because like I ask any of my like ask my family, ask my close friends, like, I love being alone now. I love it. I
it's
love
awesome.
it. Even in a relationship, I am so much more balanced. Like, I take time, spend time, but I also spend time alone. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I need some time to think and process my own feelings, and I need time for my hobbies and my interests and my stuff and my life. Um, and it's so much healthier. Like, relationships are so much healthier. My friendships are such more fruitful. I'm so much clearer on my own boundaries. I will say a big part of this that goes hand in hand because you're like because like right personal life reflects art is I started going to therapy about 10 months ago. And I'll be really open about that journey. Because I think therapy is just there's the weirdest stigma on, and I don't understand, but um, and I think everyone should go to therapy. Therapy is very beneficial, and anyone can benefit from it. Um, and it's been incredible to kind of like, I don't know, get to the root of things and start to understand my own behaviors and kind of like have a goal of the kind of person I want to become. And my morals are much more stronger. Like I'm way more certain about things. When I have a vision, I stick to it. Like I'm less floaty. I'm a bit more like aware, self-aware. And I don't know. I just feel like it's really gone hand in hand, my personal journey and my music journey. And I feel like the reason I'm able to have because I've been having really good response and people like connecting to it, and I think the reason why is because I got real with myself for once, and I spent time alone. And like spending time alone, you learn so much about yourself, like what you actually like. You learn like that you've been picking up little personality traits from everybody, but you develop your own life when you're by yourself. and then you don't need people. You just want them. Um and it's just, I don't know. I just feel so much more peaceful. I was really stressed when I was writing this EP, and you can hear it.
Yeah.
um and I just feel good now. I just feel good. It's just crazy. It's full circle moment.
You know what's interesting is I feel like the older people are, the less likely they are to go to therapy. And I feel like
Really?
the younger the person is, the more open they are about it. Let me tell you why.
Okay.
So my mom uh was 79 when she passed
Mhm.
away. So she grew up through the Great Depression. She grew up
Wow.
in the era of like you kind of just swallow your feelings and get through, get to the other side
Totally.
of it, you
Yeah, you
know.
don't talk about it either.
Yeah, and people who are now in their 40s, 50s, and 60s, I think they're called boomers. Um,
Baby boomers,
yeah,
yeah.
they're very much in a similar mindset of like we fought the world wars and we built this country and everyone's entitled and
Totally.
and I feel like once you kind of get to the millennials, the older millennials still have a little bit of that stigma when it comes to
Mhm.
counseling and therapy, but once you get down to people who are like under the age of 25, uh,
Mhm.
it's to a certain degree, it might be a little too far of a pendulum swing where everybody, it's like, oh, you really need to go to therapy to figure out why you don't like cheese. Like, no, you don't really need to do that. But they're more
Sure,
open.
sure, sure.
Yeah, but they're more open to the idea of like, hey, there's some trauma here and I want to figure it out.
Yeah.
And you're somewhere, you're under that 25 age.
Yeah.
But I don't think you're whatever the next gen is. um, can you maybe briefly talk about like a couple of things that you may have learned about yourself through therapy? Because
Mhm. Yeah.
I've been talking about this for about a year now. My one of my friends has been telling me that I have a lot of trauma that I need to get, to work through therapy. So I'm actually personally interested in your journey as far as
Yeah,
please.
totally. Well, you know, I'll just be very open and vulnerable, but like I tend to like really disassociate. That is something that I naturally tend to do. I kind of take things like they're not happening to me. Like they're just happening and oh whatever, like oh it's crazy, but it's fine. Just keep it going, keep moving forward. Very much that mentality. And then one day I'll just be really, 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 really sad, like, and not understand why. Um, Through therapy, I have gotten so much better at trying to verbalize um how I'm feeling when I'm feeling it. Having my therapist be like, okay, like, no, it's okay to be like, okay, this is happening to me right now. And it hurts and it sucks. And, physically saying that, I feel really upset. I feel really hurt. Because of therapy, I got into like journaling. I really fell in love with journaling. It's been a great outlet for me. And it's also overall therapy has just been really good to me about boundaries as well, even with my family. Because a lot of our trauma stems from our childhood, right? So it's like when you revisit your family and it's kind of like you're an adult, it's like weird because you're like triggered by these things and you don't know why. There's all this tension. Why am I so argumentative only with my family? Like having those feelings, um, and then realizing that well, you had a bad dynamic and that's okay, and they're not at fault. They did the best they can, and you love them. But now moving forward, now that I know what I want in my life and now that I know what I don't want, and now I can see hindsight like, okay, this behavior is cool, but this one isn't. So I'm going to have these conversations ahead of time with my family and go, hey, like, these are things I'm not willing to talk about. These are things I'm willing to talk about. Oh, and like, I need this amount of time for this, just having much clearer boundaries. So lines aren't blurred, one. And two, it helps me feel better. Helps me feel like I don't have to be such a freaking people pleaser. Like I can actually listen to myself. And when you kind of like don't know what to do, you're so indecisive, is because you're not in tune with your gut feelings anymore, because you're literally pleasing people all the time. Um and I just feel a lot more in tune with my gut feelings and my instincts. And I trust myself more. Like, therapy has become such an empowering thing for me. Plus, I've got an amazing therapist with I have a great relationship with her. Um she's really gotten to know me, and she's even been so great about teaching me boundaries through even my relationship with her.
Mm,
Um and yeah, I just think therapy is so great, because there are even things that we as humans, like I said, um desensitize ourselves to, or like disassociate. We don't even realize like certain pains that we had. We don't even realize certain traumas that we had, because our survival instincts kind of took over.
yeah.
Um, and then you go to therapy, and then something brings up something, and then you're crying like a baby, and you're like, what the fuck? Like, what is going on?
Yeah.
Um, and then, yeah, like therapy, I will say, like, it's a lot of work. And if you're really going to go to therapy, you got to do the work. And it is going to be difficult. It's going to be fucking hard. There were days where like I would do therapy and I would have to like go for a walk around my block like 10 times, like just to like be like, I can't believe I just went through that entire story. I didn't even want to really discuss with anyone ever, you know?
Yeah.
And then months later you're like, well, and it's different for everyone, but you just start to be like, okay, well, that explains this. Or you'll catch yourself in behaviors that you're like, oh my god, I see this. It like really gives you perspective on yourself and how you can move forward to have an actual life that you want. Like, you start facing fears and things like that. Like, I don't know, I just think therapy is incredible, and I'm probably going to go for a long while because it's just really beneficial.
I love that. I love that. And one thing I think people need to realize is therapy is kind of like going to the gym, you know,
Totally.
is
Oh my god, yes.
people think a lot, especially now that we're in January, it's that time of the year where everyone signs up for the gym. Um
That's right.
People forget, people think that, oh, I just need to show up. But no, you have to like
Show up
either
and show out.
show up. Yeah, exactly. You have to show up and you have to know what you want to do. You have to
Mhm.
know, whatever, whether it's leg day, back day, arm day, knee day, whatever. Like, you have to go in prep for that. You have to have your pre-workout. You have to have your protein shakes. You have to eat right. You have to make sure, and that, so that a lot of it is people don't realize. And also, I'm gonna say this as well, is a lot of people go to the gym and they think, oh, I'm gonna go to the gym for 2 days, I'm gonna lose 20 pounds and then be ripped and have my
Right.
bikini body and be ready for summer like 2 days later. It's the same thing with therapy. People feel like, oh, I can go to two sessions and I'm gonna be fixed. Like,
No.
no, there's people who have been going to therapy for 20 years who still aren't quote unquote fixed, like, because I don't think you really fix yourself. You just kind of figure out how to deal with some of the stuff that you're going through.
Mhm.
And that's also not to say that if you're going to therapy that you're broken. I just want to clarify,
No, yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
know. But it's like, if you want your bikini body, it's going to take work. It's going to take work to get into your summer body.
20 minutes a day for 2 months is more beneficial than 2 8-hour days in a row,
Exactly.
you
Exactly.
know?
100%. And it's about building those habits around coping
Right.
with what you're working through,
Right.
which is why they say, for the first couple of weeks while you're going to the gym, be as consistent as possible because you're building a habit,
Mhm.
and same with therapy. Like, if you, aren't used to going to therapy and aren't used to setting aside an hour of your time every week or every other week or whatever your sessions are, and you don't prioritize that, it's going to be easy for you to fall out of sync and fall out of the rhythm
Totally.
and not find the effect, not find it effective for you to be going to therapy and make it easier for you to justify dropping out. Just
Totally.
my thoughts.
No, it's very true. It's very true. And you know what? Just so people are kind of like because a big issue with therapy is like people don't really have access to therapy. It's really difficult. And I will tell you all that I also don't have health insurance, and I don't have access as well to those kinds of therapists. And I recommend everyone signs up on BetterHelp because it matches you with a therapist based on your I'm like, I'm not sponsored, but I'm just saying
I
BetterHelp is great. I've
was
gotten
about to
tons
say,
of my friends going to therapy
I
on
was just
there.
about to
It's
say we're not
260 a
sponsored. So
month. Yeah, not sponsored. It's like 260 a month, and think about how therapy can be like 150 a session with like a fancy therapist, and it matches you with one that is your and like yes, it is an investment. And obviously if you do have some through your health insurance, like that's better. But this is for people who maybe don't and are really interested in therapy. Like think about how much money we spend on, in a month going out for drinks or, getting this or that.
your
But just
Starbucks
investing into
alone.
your Starbucks alone. Yeah, like get a coffee pot and go to therapy. And
Yes. Can we put
and
on a t-shirt? Get a coffee pot and go to therapy. I love
yeah,
that.
stop buying lattes. Yeah.
Uh,
Um,
There's real quick too. If you do happen to work
yes.
for a large company that does offer health insurance, your employer will also probably pay for like 4 or 5 sessions as
Yeah.
well. So call your HR department if you are looking at
Mhm.
therapy. It's
Mhm.
it's called the Employee Life Assistance Programs, I believe is what they're called. Just it never hurts to ask, especially when it's HR. It's all
Mhm.
confidential, so it's not like it's going to come back and affect your work or whatever. So just
And
there
it
are
doesn't hurt to try multiple therapists. It's okay if you don't find your therapist right away. I went through 5 before I found one that I really loved.
oh,
So, and don't feel ashamed for changing your therapist because it's about you and your mental health. It's not about
abs-
making it worse.
absolutely the same thing you would change, your babysitter for your kid or your dog sitter for your dog,
Right.
whatever. Like if it's not working for you and for your needs,
Mhm.
find somebody who is going to be a better fit, and that's important. Having the right therapist is
Totally.
extremely important. Um,
Totally.
so let's talk about your trip.
Yeah.
Your trip to Arizona. Um,
Oh god.
I've been to Arizona before a couple of times, and I haven't had a trip like this. I've never gone to Arizona and back and felt like a new woman. So
Well, well, actually, um, the person I'm talking about went to Arizona. Um, and yeah, this is just about kind of like accepting and then going, okay, I've had some time. I've been alone for a while. I'm a little comfortable alone now and but now I'm like really sick of you being gone, so you should come back. And what are you doing out there alone? You asshole. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Come back. That's pretty much what that song's about.
I love it.
um and just the trippiness of, like I don't know, there were times where I don't know, I just feel like the feelings of home and those experiences just reminded me of him and made me want him, back.
Yeah.
So that's what that song's about. But that song is really epic because it just wow became something. I started this with my friend Gamal, the one in New York, and it was I think also different lyrics. As you can see, I really revisited every song. Like I really sat with them and like revisited open sessions after a while after not hearing them for 3 months. Like I'd open them back up and add things and stuff. Um but Arizona has a really beautiful outro with this incredible saxophone. It's just oh my god. My friend Yuval recorded those saxophone parts and he sent me like 6 tracks and it was initially I was just going to have him play sax on that one song and he had all these different takes that were so epic and then I just ended up throwing them on a bunch of other songs. Um and it kind of just like the sax like seeps in and out of the EP, which is really cool. Um and I don't know, yeah, this EP is definitely way more like smooth R&B, jazz influences for sure. And I think that's kind of where I'm leaning sonically as a musician, and where I'm going. I'm excited to explore my sound even more as I grow, but I'm making my way, I'm making my way there with my sound. So I don't know. It's cool. Arizona's a cool song.
It is. It's a very cool
Spirits come
song.
up a little bit there. Like there's a that's an up of the EP.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I'm interested to see, if you decide to release music videos. If I'm curious to see what the static of each song would be if you were to do like 6 different like music videos for them. Because I think they'd be pretty epic.
Yeah. Well, 2022, guys, just wait for it. I got some ideas. I got some plans.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Eyes of Charcoal. Uh,
Yes.
I again, I'm gonna let you chat about this. I'm looking over the lyrics here. You're really good with your words, by the way.
Thank you so
I'm
much.
I love art. Well, I love artists who can tell stories in creative ways. But yeah, Eyes of Charcoal.
Thank
Tell me
you
about
so much. Thank you. Also, back to really quick your last thing about you were asking me about like the collaborators and stuff. I realized I didn't fully answer that question, but the writers I wrote like this song mostly lyrically was me, except Arizona I co-wrote with my friend Gabby,
it. Okay.
and Trip to the Moon I co-wrote with my friend Chloe and Nick. And but most of these songs were, I mean, and even those two songs were completely my story, and they were just I was over, they were putting into my story their creative energy into my story. But a lot of these songs were all about the lyrics initially, just written to chords, and we built the production around the lyrics. And so that's why the lyrics pop out, I guess, is because it's literally what the songs are about, and that's what I wanted to be the focus. And I used to be very afraid of collaboration. um I used to have a real weird ego thing about it, and now I just don't care because I have really fucking talented friends. And my friends who are really talented also happen to know my personal life, and they got cool ideas, and sometimes can help me say things, and not even lyrically but also just like through the songs, through the chord changes, through different stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of these songs are produced by my friend Jonah, and Jonah, I just have to shout him out because he that Disney dreamlike state I was going for, he just like took it to a whole other level. And Jonah has become like one of my favorite people to work with, and this was our first shit we worked on together. That's My Bed's the first song we ever did together. Um and I just have to shout him out. I'm sorry. That just had
No
to be a
worries.
moment.
No worries.
Um
Shout
so
out to
Eyes of
Jen.
Charcoal. Yeah, shout out to Jonah. Uh Eyes of Charcoal, Jonah did that one as well. That's actually was just me and Jonah. I wrote that song completely by myself, and then he produced that one. Um that song was actually the quickest one of all of the 6. Me and my best friend, we were talking, and I was kind of telling her, it's really crazy. I like look around my room and I just like see him everywhere. Like I just can't go anywhere. Like I drive down this street, like I see this coffee shop we went to, and like it's such a relatable feeling. And she's like, yeah, like she was going through something similar, and she's like, I just can't go anywhere. Like just feeling crippled, like you're followed by the ghost of this person, and it's not even bad. It's just what happens. It just is what it is. And it's also beautiful. It's also nice to be reminded of some things. But then it's also like I don't want to be reminded all the time. I'm trying to like feel good. um and I don't know, just having that conversation, thinking like you're just like it's like I just flashed through all these memories of him in my room,
Mhm.
and I basically walked into my room after that conversation and with her, and I wrote this song really quickly. um I sent it to Jonah that night, and I was like, Jonah, we have to like throw this on the EP. Like I just it just fits. And so he was like, hell yeah, I'm super down. I love these melodies. And I went to studio and he made that track in like 3 hours. I mean, he added shit. We adjusted. We definitely sat with that too. Um, but that song like really just like kind of threw up out of us. It was crazy. That song happened really fast.
I love that description. It just threw up out of us.
That's the only way to describe it. It was like it's like word vomit.
You know what? Sometimes that's the best.
Yeah.
I
And
will
you
say,
live for that as a songwriter.
yeah, absolutely. And my favorite artist is this guy right here, Miles Kennedy. He's a great artist. Um,
Oh,
I'll send you some of his stuff. It's completely different from what you do, but I think you might enjoy it just artistically.
okay.
But
Yeah. I love all kinds of music.
yeah, so I interviewed him a while back, and I asked him about one song on his latest record that just resonated with me so much. And he's like, dude, here's a story about that. He's like, I was it was right in the middle of the pandemic, and he's like, I was playing around with my guitar and drinking a little whatever he was drinking. And he's like, and I wrote the song in like 20 minutes. And it's pretty much almost the same, except for we produced it. And there's something like I feel special about songs that are, while you can sit on them like you did and still tinker with them a little bit, but like when it comes together quickly like that, there's something special about the authenticity of it, and the
Totally.
rawness of the meaning behind it.
Totally.
I can sense it, and I feel like even though a lot of these songs that you sat with for a while, that's the one thing I love about this EP, just from start to finish, is I do feel like this is authentically you.
Thank you.
And
Wow. Thank you.
and I met you back when you were doing more bubblegum poppy stuff. Uh,
How old was I? Like 14,
14, I think. Yeah,
15?
yeah.
Oh God.
You were a child, and I mean, I was also.
I was a baby 10 years ago.
Yeah, yeah. So, so
Woo!
there's a lot that has happened since then. Obviously, you've grown up, you've become, a young woman, like you said, and like I said, this is kind of
Totally.
like your coming of age record.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and like you have another song, "Using You, Using Me," which I absolutely love. It's not on the EP. It's a song I think you released a couple years ago.
Last
Um,
year, yeah.
yeah, last year. It's just so awesome to see somebody who was literally a child when I met them grow up into a young person, and like actually being authentically themselves, and not being told what to do by managers or publicists or people who were hired by you to advise you. Like there's something really awesome that I can
Thank
say I'm
you.
excited for your future as well. Um,
Thank you so much.
so Trip to the
Yeah.
Moon um, is the last album on the EP. Um,
Last album on the EP.
last song. Thank you. Thanks. Last.
Uh,
Yeah, well, that's the last interview of the
yeah.
questions. He's gonna keep doing it.
Uh,
It's the last song
yeah.
on the EP. Tell me about it, because I'm really interested about this one, because this one um, seems to be on theme with the
Mhm.
title. So let's
Yeah.
chat.
Yeah. So, Trip to the Moon was a last minute thing also. But this happened in like this one was definitely longer than Eyes of Charcoal. This was like 4 or 5 different sessions. So much instrumentation on this song. Holy shit. Um, there's a whole breakdown at the end. Obviously, that's a big theme in it, a lot of music. And I wanted the whole EP to feel that way because that's the type of, like, I love playing shows. That's my background. I'm sure, I mean, you know that, you know me, but I played a shit ton of shows. I love playing shows. Like, that's where I feel comfortable. I love playing shows with the full band
Yeah.
and feeling like the show is a concert, like a full on concert. Um, and I wanted to make music that I wanted to play live. And so that's why there's so many instrumental breakdowns because that's what I love about music. I love that the lyrics tell a story and the music sets the scene, sets the mood. Um, and the lyrics tell the exact thing. Um, and so that's kind of like what Trip to the Moon was as well. Was like it's like this. It was like a big grand finale type of moment. And Trip to the Moon is also uplifting. It's like, okay, so we didn't we you know we just it just didn't happen, but it did. And it's okay. Like it's literally it's okay because I got me and I got those memories and that experience, and I have great people around me. There's so many beautiful things going on. I think that's the overall like feeling of it, is that like we all go through hard shit. Like we just it's life. It's literally life, and it builds character, teaches you lessons. Obviously, would we choose to go through certain experiences? Absolutely not. But now that we have, it's given us something to like move forward with. Um and I think like that's sort of the theme of the EP, just that like things can go down and that's okay. It's okay to feel, people are so terrified of like feeling things and crying now, which is like so crazy cuz like I'm just an open crybaby. Um and people are really scared to go there, and it's like, but how, like, what are you going to do, just like play tough guy and then like explode one day? Like I rather just get it out and then like actually heal from it.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
cuz it's like your emotion's going to come out in some way. Do you want to like properly go through it, or do you want to escape, pretend it's not there, and then one day you just absolutely lose your shit? So that's kind of what the EP is about teaching yourself to just like feel what you got to feel, learn to love yourself and be alone, and also learn to respect yourself.
Yeah.
And also, breakups don't have to be fuck you. They can be love you, and it's okay. You're not a bad person. I'm not a bad person. It's just not happening right now. And
Yeah.
that's okay. And I love you still. And that's okay.
Yeah. Oh my God. That's so, oh my gosh, like prolific. Like that's just such an interesting, like it's such a, also, it's a very adult thing to come to, like, because I feel like, especially with young people, breakups are either these catastrophic events, and it's, f
Totally.
you, and it becomes such a big public thing, and you know and you can have your moments where you're saying, well, f you, like I'm mad at you right now.
Yeah,
I'm not
totally.
your biggest fan, but also
Hmm.
I still love you, and I still wish the best for you, and I still hope that someday you find happiness, and
Yeah.
who knows, maybe
Because
it's
it's
with.
unconditional.
Exactly. Exactly. So I am so proud of you for putting this out and being so vulnerable and being so open for the last hour and a half with me, because this is
Oh my
uh
God. Yeah.
I'll say this, with this iteration of the podcast, this is probably my favorite interview I've done so far. So I'm um very happy with
Thank you.
um so with all that being said,
Yes.
um I guess, is there one, maybe in like 3 or 4 sentences, is there a takeaway from these last 2 years and putting this album together? uh is there a takeaway that you can leave people with, um in particular, people who are maybe in the position you were 2 years ago as you began this journey, and maybe are wondering what's next for them?
Ooh, 4 sentences.
I
um,
was going to say one, but
um, I would say that I know it fucking sucks. And some days it feels like you just can't get up. You just can't move. But you have to. And you have to love yourself, and ultimately know that you have not peaked yet, and the best is yet to come. Really. You're not there yet. You're the best is yet to come. It's coming. Like you're not going to be this sad forever, I promise.
I love that.
Promise.
I love that. I absolutely love that. I do have some random questions for you.
Yay, fun time.
I did tell you that I was gonna put in some random questions into a generator, and
Okay, I'm ready.
I solicited questions from people,
Okay.
and I filtered out the inappropriate ones. Don't worry.
Oh God, freaking Jesus.
There's always one guy,
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna ask a couple random ones here, and then we'll wrap this up and chat for a little bit off air as well, because there's some things that I just want to say hello. But
Of course.
that was not a sentence.
Say hello.
I just want to say hello. All right. What uncommon thing would you encourage everyone to try once other than shrooms?
I wouldn't encourage everyone to try shrooms once. Try once.
An uncommon thing.
Uncommon. Wow, like, am I just really common? Like, is like really uncommon things I do? I don't know. I think uncommon thing. Damn, wow, that's really hard. Hang on.
No worries.
I mean, maybe it's like it's not that uncommon. It's the only one in my head right now, but I think there are a lot of people that don't like international food.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of people that don't like international food or like healthy food. And I think people should really get into it because they're missing out on a lot of good food. You know, chicken nuggets doesn't really cover it. Like a lot of people are missing out on like fucking good meals because
Let me tell you
they
something.
won't let themselves try that food.
People are gonna come at you for that one because chicken nuggets is where it's at. Just FYI.
Okay, I love chicken nuggets. It is just not the only thing out there.
I agree.
Like and here's a fun fact. I love cooking. I'm Italian. I love cooking. I cook all the time.
When am I coming over for dinner?
Yeah, anytime. I love making food for people. It's like my love language. I love giving my friends freaking meals. I used to have like little parties and then make food. Like I love cooking. And so I eat really healthy too. So I just feel like a lot of people are missing out on so many good meals because they only eat like 2 things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Expand your palate is what I'm saying.
Absolutely. So I have a friend, and I'm gonna make her listen to this podcast. Like, I'm giving her a shout out. Her name's Sabrina.
Hi, Sabrina.
She's really good about forcing me to try different things. Like she literally, when we first got to know each other, she was like, "You have to." I think was it Thai food? I think it was Thai food. I'd never eaten Thai food before, and she's like, "All right, I'm buying. You have to try at least everything. You have to have at least a bite of everything I order." And I loved it. I loved 90% of the things that she ordered. I loved. So be open-minded about that. Definitely. I absolutely agree with that.
Yes. Indian food, Thai food. Ooh, I love it all. Italian food, Chinese food. Like I love all types of Asian food. Oh my God.
Just no pineapple on pizza.
Yeah. So I'm lactose intolerant. I'm super, super allergic to dairy. So I don't have pizza at all, unfortunately.
Ever?
Like
not even like
I'm super allergic. I can't. Literally can't.
What about with non-dairy cheese?
Yeah, it's just non-dairy cheese is terrible.
Yeah, it's true. That's true.
It's really terrible. It's not good.
How do you eat Italian food then? Because Italian food has tons of cheese.
I don't have it with cheese or Alfredo. I have to make a vegan Alfredo. Or I just have marinara. Simple shit.
Marinara.
That's why I'm so good at cooking, because I had to figure out how to adjust with my allergies.
All right. If you had to describe your current life, so you in January 2022, as a movie, which movie would you choose and why?
I would choose probably, I don't know, some sort of coming of age story. What's a movie like that?
I don't watch movies.
Fuck. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. Some sort of coming of age movie. I don't know. Fuck, movie?
Yeah,
I
see,
don't know.
I don't watch movies enough to be able to ever
I don't
answer that
know.
story.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I can answer that one.
Okay, no worries, no worries. Do you have any secret hobbies?
Cooking.
Is that really a secret though?
Yeah, well, it's like not a secret, I guess, to my close friends, but it's a secret maybe to like the public. I don't post all my cooking
Gotcha. Okay.
and
Okay.
stuff. I should though. I take a lot of photos. I should post it.
Okay. So, random side note: I have a friend who recently is a realtor out in the East Coast. Always posts videos about real estate and blah blah blah. Gets a couple
Mhm.
thousand views on her TikTok. Posted a random cooking video, got 1.2 million views in like 2 days.
People love the cooking videos.
It's so weird. It's so weird. I love them too. I've never tried
Yeah.
any of the recipes, but I love them.
Yeah,
Um,
I should film them. I should.
yeah, just even just for fun, just so you can remember what you did
Yeah.
last time.
Yeah.
If you had the opportunity to look through someone's emails
Oof.
without them knowing,
Oof.
would you do it? And whose emails would they be?
Ooh.
You don't have to name names if you don't want to, but
I mean, of course my initial thought is like any ex. Like you want to know what the hell they were doing like when you
right?
were looking, you know? Like but I actually don't want to do that cuz why go there, you know?
Yeah,
Um probably like any like agent or manager I've ever had just to see how they were like speaking on my behalf when they represented me.
yeah.
Um that would be really fascinating or to see if they said things that weren't accurate, you know, to people. That would be interesting for me.
I'm always curious to see if like publicists are always running interview requests by their clients, or if they're just like, nope, not available because they don't want to do the work. I'd be interested
Yeah.
to find that out.
Yeah.
All right, let's do this. Let's do one last one here.
Okay.
I'm gonna make it a good one. Make it a good one.
Yeah. Or we
Uh,
can do two. I'm here.
yeah. I don't want to take up too much of your time.
Yeah.
Um,
It's cool.
this is actually kind of an interesting one.
Okay.
Uh, if you can make, well, let me learn how to read here. If you can have any person become a member of your family, who would you choose?
Mm. Like famous or not?
Famous or not? Yeah, whether it could be a friend that you just really wish was a sibling, could be, a famous person that you think would make a fun uncle or a fun aunt.
Yeah. Ooh, I would love to have my uncle be Snoop Dogg.
That's a great answer. That's a great
Uncle
answer, actually.
Snoop. Uncle Snoop. You know what? It's on my bucket list to smoke a joint with him, and it's gonna happen. And he's a Libra like me, so I feel like we would really get along.
Okay, I'm gonna clip that part and we're gonna put it up on TikTok. We're gonna put it everywhere because we need this to happen.
I would
Snoop Dogg.
love. Oh, I would die to smoke a joint with Snoop Dogg.
Can I be there?
Yeah, I
It's
mean, if you freaking make it happen, please. I
like
would love that.
I would probably get high just walking in the same room as him, so I probably would not
Hmm.
remember any of it. But
Hmm.
that's actually a really good answer. Huh.
Yeah, and I would love to like buy him weed. I would love to like buy him like fancy weed. I'm sure he'd be like, "No, like I got some," and like rips out like a huge bag of weed. But like, I don't know. It would be cool to like. Although, like, I would be so nervous to be like, Snoop Dogg, here's the weed I got at my dispensary. Like, he's gonna be like, oh, like, shut up. um, that would be freaking cool, though. I would love that.
That would be pretty epic. Um,
I think so.
okay, let's do one last one. I found a good one
Okay.
here.
Okay.
What are you currently doubting in your life?
Ooh. I think it's like tale as old as time for writers, but like I'm constantly thinking I'm not a talented writer. Um, I constantly think that like I'm like, I'm not even, and like I write all my songs and I've written everything I've ever done and like been proud of that work and still doubt myself and still think I'm like not good enough. I think I think that's a constant thing for me. I'm I'm better at like accept or like being proud of the work and going, okay, no, I am a good writer. Like I'm good at like talking myself through that doubt, I guess.
Yeah.
But I'm super, super doubting and critical of myself. A perfectionist at heart.
Yeah, for sure. I feel that's a creative type. I feel anybody who's truly creative always thinks their work isn't good enough. Uh,
Yeah,
and I'm not a creative type. I'm very much not. And because I never go through that phase. Like people can criticize me left and right, and it doesn't even affect me. You know, like
yeah,
I've had people. You know, I'm very open about my thoughts and my life commentary. You've seen some of my stories and stuff, and you know,
totally.
people who disagree with my take on life, will instantly talk about how, as an example, they might have a podcast page that has 20,000 people who follow it. I only have, I think, 300 or less than that, maybe, whatever. I don't care, and they'll,
You love it. You love doing it.
I love what I do, and I know I'm good at with what I do. I
Yeah.
couldn't imagine being an artist or a comedian or a singer who is constantly thinking they're not good enough, And then on top of it, I feel especially bad for female artists because they have not only have to worry about being good enough and talented enough, but they also have to worry about whether the world thinks they're pretty enough, or if they're dressing the right way, or if they're, if they look at somebody the wrong way, it's automatically like I feel terrible for you female artists out there because if a dude could show up wearing literally sweatpants and a in a hoodie and it's a fashion statement. If a girl does it, she's lazy and like what the hell,
Yeah, I mean, yep. That's what it's like being a woman.
Right?
Yeah, I do appreciate, I love when a man can acknowledge it. So it's very appreciated. But yeah, it is a constant thing. Misogyny is real and it's so real in the music industry. Women are just like not allowed to do anything or, you know, if you do this, like your career is over. If you do this, like you're too slutty, but like, oh my God, you're like a prude. Like you're one of those like weird, like natural girl. Like there's so much like pressure, but it's honestly why now that I've become more comfortable being alone, I'm so good at like keeping my circle small. And like I used to have a lot of friends, and now I have like two that I'm really tight with, and they're like, I mean, I have
I'm
friends,
kidding.
but you know what I mean. Um, and yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it makes perfect sense. I mean, let's look at Adele here for a second.
Mhm.
um, you know,
Love her.
she
Great new
lost.
album.
Yeah, great new. I haven't even listened to it all,
Oh,
um,
so good.
but you know, she lost significant amount of weight recently,
Yeah.
and there are people who hate the fact that she lost weight.
Oh my God, it's
And
crazy.
when she, had the extra weight on, there were people who were demeaning her because she was a little bit heavier, And I'm like, first of all, can we stop
She's a
commenting?
singer. She's
Yeah,
not a body. Like she's not. Oh my God.
well, and you know what? Here's the other thing too. It doesn't to me. It doesn't matter if she was a model or like whatever
It just doesn't
career path
matter.
is. She was successful with what she was doing, no matter what she looked like. Okay,
Hmm.
but the decision for her to keep the weight or lose the weight was a decision she made for herself. You know,
Totally.
and I feel that's one of the things that I constantly think about when I think about all these very talented female friends of mine, and I'm very close with a lot of very talented musicians in general. But the
Mhm.
stuff that women have to deal with on a day to day basis versus what the men have to think about, it's night and day. Like
It
guys don't
is.
have to think about what they're gonna wear to a show. They don't have to worry about being nice to every person who walks up to them. Like
Yeah. They can be a fucking dick and it doesn't matter. It doesn't
absolutely.
matter. They're a
It's
boss if they're a dick, honestly.
yeah, but if a woman does it, she's a bitch, and she's hard
Exactly.
hard to work with. When it's like, no, first of all, everybody has bad days. Like
Totally.
I think Christina Aguilera is an incredible bitch. Like I do not like her whatsoever. I worked with her on enough occasions to know that for her attitude is a consistence and not an exception to the
Wow.
rule.
Wow.
You
I
know,
had a great experience with her. That's crazy.
And you know what? And maybe it's because, maybe it's because I'm a man and she just wanted
Maybe.
to show that she's the boss, which is, hey, that's fine. That's between you and the good Lord upstairs. If you are going to be nicer to
But your
females,
experience was not great with her.
exactly. But I have footage of her not being very nice to me. So it's like I have more evidence showing again that for me it wasn't an exception to the rule. It was the rule for her. On the flip side, I've worked with other artists who I've worked with on a couple different weeks, and one week they had a really bad week and they weren't very nice to me, and I could understand that it was just a bad week. But every other time, they were perfect professionals. They were great, whatever. But when but Adam Levine, who's also kind of a bitch, people love him for the fact that he
I've heard that.
will ignore people. He will say
What's
things.
happening to my video?
Are you losing?
Oh, it's back. Okay, I don't know. It just started. Okay, we're fine. We're good.
No worries. Yeah, my I'm using my hotspot. My hotspot might be out of data here because I'm like, I didn't want it to ruin during the important part of the interview. But anyway, the point of that being is I feel terrible for the fact that there's such a big double standard between men and women, and it's not cool. It's not cool.
There's a lot of pressure on what to wear, what you should look like. I mean, definitely I don't think people talk enough about how insanely common eating disorders are in the entertainment industry for women, and how many women take medication so they don't get hungry. How many women feel like the most beautiful, incredible, brilliant, smart, incredible women that I know struggle with this and get the constant, backlash and expectation. And meanwhile, literally my male musician friends are talking about whether like the drums sit in their mix or not. And like women don't even get to think about that until after they've already passed the other shit. So you're so right. We're moving forward, but it has to be acknowledged. There's a lot to do, definitely.
And just FYI, before anyone comes at me, I'm not just saying this because there's a female on my podcast. I've said this privately to men and women. I've told dudes off who were like, oh my God, like somebody didn't like the way something sounded. I'm like, bro, if that's the least of your worries. Like you're good. Like you're not.
Yeah.
You're not and you're also not dealing with like weird, creepy dudes hitting on you at the end of your show.
Oh my God. Or just anywhere, just like wearing sweatpants, walking on the street to literally get a freaking snack because I'm hungry, get a coffee. Like you just can't do anything. Like it's being a woman is really, oh God, that could be a 10-hour podcast.
Yeah.
We could just really go into it. But it is very.
Yeah, I don't envy women at all. Hey, tell everybody where they can find you on social media real quick, and where they can find the EP, obviously available everywhere.
On social media, I'm just Laci Mercede, so LACR. Wait, oh my God, what? LACIMERCED. Also my website, lacimercede.com. There's links to everything there. And that's all my socials. They're all that. And my EP, A Trip to Mercury, is on Spotify and Apple Music and all platforms. And please go listen to it. Please go check it out. I am so it's been an amazing week. I'm so overwhelmed, and like it's just fucking amazing. I'm very, very, very excited and happy and thankful and grateful.
The EP is worth the download. I will not recommend music that I do not personally like. It is worth the download. Go and listen to it. Laci Mercede, thank you so much. We'll be back with more.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, anytime.